So I get to have the pleasure to introduce our sheriff, and it is really a pleasure and an honor. Before I do that, I want to thank every capacity, every human body in this room has really worked hard to make this day successful. Even when we had somebody drilling a hole in the ceiling today while songwriters were working, I figured out what was going on, and they wrote amazing songs nonetheless. So we're so excited to share this with you. Thank you everybody for being here. This is our Redemption Songs fall kickoff, and it is a kickoff because it's a relaunch of our program. We were on a little bit of a hiatus for the last 4 or 5 months while the downtown jail was getting demolished and inmates were getting transferred all over the place, and all of these covert operations were occurring, and so we're back. And Redemption Songs is currently a monthly program. We really want it to be a weekly program because it is so powerful. We're working on that. But I just want to thank the Davidson County Administration for allowing us to bring all of this gear in here and all of these crazy energies, songwriters, and just all of the things that you see in this room that make this program what it is. We are so grateful for you guys for allowing us to do that. Thank you to Shridi Bickett, who is the program administrator that we have worked with for a long time in this building and has now moved onto the building next door. She has been a golden lifesaver time and time again, and she is really what has made so much of this possible, along with Regina in the back and Paul and of course our wonderful sheriff. Shridi actually said to me for the longest time, she said, "I know you love me, but wait until you meet the sheriff. Wait until you meet the sheriff." And I got to meet him, and I can say that he is one of the most passionate and caring and genuine individuals that I've met in the corrections industry. And I say that because I have met a lot of people in the corrections industry. I have a music background. I'm a social worker, which is a big part of the reason why I started this organization, bringing those two worlds together. But I'm also a survivor of incarceration, not myself personally, but I spent 12 years visiting my father in prison all over the place. And that really made me search for something that I could use as my inspiration and my therapy during those dark times, and music was what I turned to. And I felt like it was really the thing that God used to speak to me at a time when not many other things could. And so when I met the sheriff, I was just like, I have been in so many facilities my entire life visiting my father, and I've never seen an administration and a sheriff and somebody who genuinely, truly cares about the people that are behind these walls, and seeing you guys be able to thrive and be able to shine. And so I get the honor today to introduce this man. He will be speaking again. He got the longest slot today out of all of us, and he's going to share a little bit about his administration and about what he believes this program can accomplish, and the power of music in the jail walls, and his kind of trademark I guess tagline that I've heard him use a lot is, "Only in Nashville can you make this happen," and bring in these amazing hit songwriters that are in this house that have written hits for Rascal Flatts, and we've got another one who's getting ready to have a big #1 hit with Kelsey Ballerini, and amazing people that are in this room that are giving of their time. And we're just so grateful that this man right here is allowing it to happen. So with no further ado, I'm on a 60-second wrap up, so I'm done.
We're a little diverse in our height here. Well, thank you, Jenny and Damien. I tell you, I'm the least talented person in the room. I'm overwhelmed when I'm around people who can do what you guys do, and that's everybody, by the way, including the people who wear uniforms, and I mean that. And I get to do a lot of interesting. I'll be sitting in Washington, D.C. around a table of about 6 people with the U.S. Attorney General, the top law enforcement person in the world, the governor of Virginia, and 4 or 5 other people. And the reason I'm going and the reason I was invited is because of you. And I want you to know that. I mean, A lot of people want to be known for things and do things that are great things or whatever. I want to be known for someone who changed people's lives. I don't get to change anybody's lives. I'm not here to do that. I don't get to do that. But the fact that someone has asked me to come and talk about what we're trying to do is what I get paid for. That's how I get paid. I feel really good, feeling like there's something going on different here in Nashville. And I think it's fair. I mean, I want you to know that I'm my job when I go back. I mean, I go back down in town. I don't want to tell you what all I've been doing all day. It's not this fun. This is what I want to do. Anybody who knows me knows that. And I'm in charge of this organization. Take great pride in what everybody here does. The men and women who run the security division here is critical to everybody. But I want you to know when we bring them to work here, we also tell them that the person is arrested. We're going to arrest the problem. The problem's not the person. Yeah, you have to believe that. Society's got to figure that out. I have a son. He's 14 today. He was in the first grade, and I have an older son. I've been doing this all my life, right? So he was 6 or 7 years old, coming home in the first grade, and he said, "Dad, what do you do?" You know, it was that first grade. I could tell that at school today they asked, "What does your mom do? What does your dad do?" I guess. So, you know, I was sitting there, and this is just who I am, and I was thinking about how to tell a first grader. You know, the word doesn't mean anything. I mean, you know, it doesn't tell them anything, and they hear it, and he sees it. He knows I come and go every day, but he's never been to my work. And so I really wanted him to understand who I was, not what I was. And I thought about it a long time, and I said, I run timeout. Now, unfortunately, he knows what timeout is. But let me tell you what timeout is to me and what I told him. You know the timeout is those steps over there. And you go sit on the steps if you talk back, or if you don't take your bath, your homework not done, or there's other little things you could do. But I don't love you any less when you're in timeout. I don't feel different about you when you're in timeout. I don't want you to feel different about me when you're in timeout. Timeout is so you can sit there and I can sit here. We can figure out how we're going to go from here. And ultimately, that's what I want him to do in life. He makes mistakes today. I'm going to make mistakes today. I'm not going to judge people for those mistakes, and nor are you. But you may have to go sit in timeout in my house, and some people in society are sitting in timeout, but we love them the same. Our job is to work with someone in timeout. And so it's really who I am. And I think what we're doing is running timeout. Now, some people in society believe timeout means you're warehousing people. And I've said this all my life. You know, the day that we are viewed as warehousing people, I'm out. If you believe we're here to do something about it, I want you to work here, be here, and help us get it done. Right? So let's talk about why that is and what's going on. There's a lot of issues in this country about, you know, what's going on out in the streets, and we all know that. Bad things can happen to people in the streets. The reality is this is a great opportunity. Anybody, I mean, I get a call a month from someone in this community who says, you don't know me, but my granddaughter is in the streets, is going to die if we don't get her arrested. Grandson, fill in the blank. It could be a dad or mom, but it is a painful thing. It goes on, and that person needs someone taken off the streets to get in an environment that's safe, clean, sober, and maybe we connect that person to something they've never had before. How do we do that? I don't have a magic pill, but I will tell you one thing. Music, for me personally, and music to a lot of people in this world, is therapy. Yeah. It has a message in it that you can't just print and put on the wall. And so I say this all the time. I mean, I think of what we do is a lot like the mall. You know, when I go to the mall, I don't like to shop, I don't like to go to the mall. But when I go to the mall, what happens to me is I go out there for a pair of shoes and I come out with a cookie. I don't really know why I went in, and I don't really always accomplish what I think I'm going to do. And a lot of times when people come into a jail system with all that's going on, they have no idea what they're looking for. And my point to you is this is a mall. I want to give you everything we can give you to give you a chance to reach a place that's never been reached. And who are we to say what that one thing is? We're in Music City. We're in the most talented place in the world. There's no doubt about it. Who would we be not to bring that resource to the people who need it more than anybody else? Not 14-year-old sings every song, every word to every song going down the road. It's important. But I would much prefer to think we can reach someone here who can maybe change their life. And that's the reason in 15 hours, I'm going to be sitting in a table with a person who makes that decision in this country. Because we want to stand up for what we believe. What is that? The person's been arrested. That's easy. What's hard is to arrest the problem. And it's rooted in things that we all know in this room, right? And there's a spiritual void in people. I mean, addiction is a disease. You can't just say stop. You have to provide help for people. The mentally ill in this country are incarcerated. How sick is that? And so our job is to reach the individual who is with us with the resources that we have. And it's just real, okay? I want you to know, I've met a bunch of people in this line of work all my life. And there are people who have all kinds of ideas, and they never go anywhere. I have people come meet with me about ideas to the programs and institutions, and I will tell you this, just flat out, I've never said no. You'll never find a person ever who's come to me and said, I have an idea, I want to help people, now here's what we want to do. I have never said no. I won't say no. We got to work around some things sometimes. I remember one time they wanted to take folks over to a performing arts place. And, well, why would they take 200 inmates? I mean, you know, we got to work through it. But here's what you need to know. There are real people who are doing real things and are walking the walk. I know who they are. I promise you. Jenny's story, I remember the first time I heard it, I think there was 300 people outside, and we're all out back. And I thought, be alive, trying to reach people. She was a family member of someone who was incarcerated and used music to help her. Look at all the people, and by the way, just so you know, that day, the person formerly incarcerated here had many #1 hits after he got out, singing back to the population while he stared out the windows when he was housed here. And I just can't tell you, as a person who's in charge, now I feel like we should walk up and say, how do we make this work every day? Do you know what I told Jenny? We need it every week. That's just the start. Right? Monthly is great. Most places don't have it yearly. We need it weekly. We need it daily. So just so you know why that's important, if you're out there in the community for a second and you don't know much about music or don't know much about corrections and you care about people, you wouldn't be here. If you want to talk about money for a second, just listen to this. Today, in this city, in this town, we have 4,000 beds to house people. When I was elected 15 years ago, the experts built the beds. George Washington said they will be university, not the man. George Washington. I'm old, I'm not that bad. He's gone now. But George Washington University projected what you would need, and you needed 4,000 beds, and here's $70 million, and you need to start building again in 2014. They're going to be full. Every projection, they're going to be full. That's 15 years ago. And I said to the people who are closest to me, I don't want to be here. I don't cut ribbons to celebrate opening jails. Who would do that? Why would you celebrate that? I want to be here when we close them. Now, a lot of things change in the world. I just want you to know 4,000 beds were to be full on 2014. Paid for advice by major university, everything says. Because of the work of Beat of Life, the effect you're having on people who are in this system, we are sitting here today with 1,600 empty out of 4,000 beds. You have to believe me. It doesn't feel like it. You know why? We're tearing down buildings. We're reducing their numbers. We're doing all kinds of things, and it feels like you're adding to it. Okay, that's not happening, I promise you. But in the end of the day, 1,600 empty beds is $52 million a year. So had we filled them up, as they told us to, and that we were going to, $52 million a year is going to be sent to us to house people and to run institutions. What is $52 million doing today? I hope it's helping the community and schools and parks and wherever you want it to go. But more important to me is we were able to close institutions. We've had to open them back up because we shut the big one, right? But I want this city to be called to Washington to talk about what we're doing, and that's what's happening. So I hope to be alive today. This is my favorite part of my job. It is. I get to sit here and feel like we're making a difference. I hope you feel it too.